Hi, good evening. My name is Jay Rothman, and welcome to Real People, Real Stories. I am so excited to have in the studio uh, three beautiful women that have touched my life. I'm going to call this episode is Women of Wisdom. And we are a global reach community. We have people coming in. Sue Gaskell is coming in as close as New Zealand. Welcome to Real People, Real Stories this evening, Sue.
Thank you, Jay. My pleasure.
I know that where you are coming in from right now, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. For me, I look at it as you're 4 hours behind, but in fact, you are 20 hours ahead. It is your Sunday. You are on my future trip. And it's always so nice to see you because you give me some insight as to what I can expect to happen tomorrow. Isn't that right?
I like that.
Some of you may recognize Sue. She and I have done a couple of shows together. First, I interviewed Sue a couple of months back, and then she was so kind to reciprocate and have me as a guest on her show, so I could be in a hot seat with a light and camera facing me. We also have coming in from Huntington Beach, California, Virginia Wells, who I invited her. Well, all three of you were invited just in this moment today. And I was pleasantly surprised when she accepted my invite. And so welcome to the studio, Virginia Wells.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Jay.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, we have Barbara Deleon coming in from Fullerton, California. I also took the opportunity to invite Barb to the studio today, and she graciously accepted. Welcome to the studio, Barb.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So what I'd like to do is just kind of take a few minutes here to first invite Sue to share when I reached out to you about a week or so ago and asked if you would be willing to come in and do a show with me. I asked you what it is that you'd like to chat about, and I'd like to invite you to share from your perspective, what is the message that you'd like to put out here today?
Okay, welcome everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you, Jay. And my message is simply this, that as we grow older in terms of the body and years, that the seniors of life have so much to offer, and we all come into this at a different perspective. And I welcome the opportunity for people to learn a little bit if they ever get to the space. I'm in my 70s, early 70s, because it's the most wonderful time to live our lives because we're in the moment now.
I like that, Sue. I love the fact that I have the pleasure of seeing you almost on a daily basis. That rocking chair that you're sitting in is where you tend to come in live, and you do your own lives almost on a daily basis, and they are filled with wisdom and love and kindness. And I love how you end each one of your shows, each one of your rocking chair conversations. You end it with something that you say. What is it that you say most days?
Most days, remember you matter. If you can do anything today, be kind.
Beautiful.
Wisdom, compassion, any one of those.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
You know, it wasn't too many 24 hours ago that I had my first, I call it spiritual awakening, when I realized that I had spent a lifetime being of service to others, and in doing so, I was not paying attention to the most important person in my life, and that was myself. And it wasn't until I was actually in doing some rehab work to do some healing that I uncovered that statement for myself, which was that I do matter. And what's important to understand is that we all matter. And so I'd like to, one other thing that really impresses me about you, Sue, besides the fact that you show up on a daily basis and you share from your heart space. You talk about a lot of different topics that are relevant and important to all of us. The topic that I really want to focus on this evening is regarding we are all right now being impacted by a virus that has taken us out of the fast lane and moved many of us into the slow lane, and some of us, they have us in a pause lane wherein we're no longer in cruise control, but we actually got a foot off the pedal, and we're having an opportunity to really sit with ourselves, sit in our homes, sit with our partners. If we have a partner, sit with our animals, sit with our children, sit with our grandchildren, and have this time to really assess, look at where we are at and where we may be. And there, in fact, brings us, some of us, to concerns and fears and worry and anxiety. But I don't see you doing that today, Sue. And I'd like for you to share with us, with the ladies here, what is it that brings you to wake up every day and be inspired and motivated to not keep your head resting on a pillow, but to get out of bed and to show up for others and do what you do so well?
Thank you for that. I live on my own. I've had two husbands. One I divorced, one he died. Both have actually died, two really good men. And then on my own, I've had to learn and understand who I am. And because I came from an era whereby I was there to please everybody, I wanted to be liked, I wanted to be accepted, I wanted to be loved. So that's where I come from. And being on my own, and I've been on this journey for 30 years, I've actually found the soul within me. We've all got a soul. It's a spark of energy that we come to this earth plane with. And so I've learned not to have irrational fear. I've learned not to feel guilty. I've learned that there is no security whatsoever on this earth. Once you embrace that, you stop trying to control externals. And so you see the beauty. So I'm having an absolute ball.
One of the other things I'm paying attention is that, to you, Sue, is that when you show up every day and you wake up and you get your day going, you also tend to step outside of your home. And on occasion, you take photographs of nature when you're in nature.
Yeah.
How do you find, why is it that you're seeking nature, and how does it impact you in the moment?
Okay, because we are nature. We are part of the universe. We're all in this together. As human beings, we somehow think we are more important, and we're actually destroying what we need to learn from, which is this beautiful planet called Earth. So I've been going out for years. I take pictures. I take you all with me. I'm a little girl inside an adult body. I'm mischievous. I've got this fun. I've got this excitement without needing to act out or control, just being me. I'm full of love from my heart. My heart's been broken. It's been shattered. It's now my own. And I share it. I never give it away. I share my heart. And so when I go on a live, if I take my camera, I take pictures. And if I don't take my camera, then it's me time and I find something else. So I'm given this beautiful, this lovely, unconditional love message that says, well, what you're going to do today is meditate and talk about what you've just done on my next live.
Beautiful. I love that, Sue. Before we came into the green room and did some sound check and studio check and all, I was thinking about how each one of you have touched my life personally. And as I shared with you prior to going live, just on time. I want to go back a ways. I'd like to reintroduce Barbara Deleon. Barbara and I know each other. It's coming up by, I want to say, about 3 decades. My best
Easy.
estimate is about 27 years. It may even be over 3. We may have known each other even when I was living in Minnesota and traveling to the Northwest. If I don't include Minnesota, then it's 27 years. If it was before 92, 93, then it could be over 3 decades. How Barbara and I met was we were in the same industry for decades. And
Yep.
eventually, Barbara and I worked for the same company in the same sales team. And when we got to know each other and learn more, we had no idea. I don't know if you recall this or not. Barb is now since retired. But I knew her ex-husband. I was a 21-year-old in the business in New York. And her ex-husband worked at the first company that I was employed by when I got out of school.
That's right. I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we didn't know each other then, and we didn't find this out until one day. I think Barbara asked me, where did I get my start in the business? And I said LMB Products out of the Bronx, New York, which I also know is where you were born and raised, I believe.
I was raised in New York. I was born in Boston, but I was raised in New York, in the Bronx.
And that's
Me and J-Lo.
There you go. And so we go back a long ways, all the way back to 1982 was when I met your husband, your ex-husband now, before I met you.
Yeah, that's right. It's amazing. My kids are listening to this and going, wow, I didn't even know that.
And then Barbara and I worked together for years, and we had, back in Long Beach, California, we had a beautiful relationship. One of let's say mutual respect for one another. And we always came from love and kindness towards each other. Even when we had a business to do, which we had a business to do. But she was always coming from love towards me. And as long as I am alive, I won't forget, in 2015, I was in the hospital. I had hit my rock bottom. For most of you that have watched me live before are aware of my backstory. Barbara and her husband, Adam, who also worked in the sales team with us, she and Adam showed up the last day I was in the hospital. And again, you guys showed up just on time. And that was a very difficult day for me for many, many reasons. But you showed up then, and you both gave me strength in that moment. And you touched me at my heart space, that you took time to show up. And it wasn't until really 2 days later when I really began my healing journey. And that's 4.25 years later, here we are, unknowing then that you'd be retired. I would be pretty much out of the old business as well, become a transformational coach, and now doing this type of work doing these shows for 1.5 years now.
Right, from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. That was a sad day, but look at how far you've come.
Well, I could say the same thing for you, and I'll say thank you. And look at how far you've come. It wasn't just a couple of 24 hours ago that you didn't hit live and do live streaming, show up as an entertainer for your friends and family on Facebook. It's just about a week or so ago that you decided to push through whatever fears and discomfort you had and show up for people and touch people in your life. And I'd like to ask you, Barb, to take just a few minutes here and share with us what it was that motivated you to show up. I mean, you're doing things like she's showing up, she's dancing, she's singing, she's playing a ukulele. She's actually she's showing up and dressing up every single day, putting on her makeup, putting on her dancing shoes. Why?
I'll tell you what it is. I know that people get very down, especially in what we're going through now. It's a time that none of us that we're talking live here to each other have ever been in. And it's a very bad time in the world, but it's something we can get through. And you have to make yourself feel good. If you could make yourself feel better, anything you can do, not laying in bed all day, not sitting around in your pajamas, not, dress up like you're going out, like you're going to be doing something. Try to sing something, even if you can't sing, so what? Try to do anything, dance, put on YouTube, learn a new dance, whatever it is. It makes you feel better. You look at yourself and say, wow, I'm feeling good. I look good. I'm feeling good now. And I'm not going to constantly worry about what's going on. You just have to know what your rules are, is what you can do, and follow them. And of course, when we're listening on TV or watching TV, excuse me, and they're telling us about people in their 70s and 80s and what's going to happen to us and all of this kind of thing, you want to say, hold it, okay? We're going to get through this just like everyone else. And we're just going to follow the rules we should be following, and it will be fine. But we have to feel good about ourselves first, and then we can give that message to everybody else. And I think that's really important.
I've been so impressed how you have courage. It's difficult enough for some people just to show up and hit live. But to take it to the next level and sing and dance, so many people don't have the courage. They don't like the way they dance. They don't think they like the way they sound. But you have stepped forward and really come into your own, and you're showing up in a way that I knew was possible because I've seen that side of you. I remember being at sales meetings, when we do the annual sales meeting and party, and you'd show up. And I remember sitting next to you and Adam at one of the last dinners that I hosted at the old company, and you were just always just a lively, just fun person to be around.
I think it's just, first of all, my personality, I'm very lucky. My dad was a very positive person. Everything was great with the world. Everything was going to be wonderful. And I got that from him. And I'm lucky. I count my lucky stars. I get emotional, but because he was a wonderful man and he showed me this is life. Life goes on. You still have a good time. He was married 3 times. He buried the first 2. The last one was his college sweetheart. They got married when he was in his early 80s. And I mean, that's like an amazing thing because he was always positive. Everything's going to be fine. And it is going to be fine. I don't think of this as the last day of my life. When they say, live your day like it's the last day of your life. No, I live it like it's the first day of my life. That I'm going to be here a long time. The future looks great. And I'm going to love every minute of it. I get up in the morning and I say, wow, I woke up, I'm breathing. I had heart surgery last March, my second one, replacement aortic valve. And when you go through something like that, you're just so lucky, you're just lucky. It's all good. And I exercise and I eat right and as much as I can, except I love whipped cream. But anyway, it's just, you just have to take care of yourself, and then you can just tell everyone about it and say, wow, you can do this too.
Bob, do
it.
Do you mind me in this moment sharing what your young age is?
I don't mind at all.
Okay. Well, for those of you that didn't read the promo, Barbara is 77 years old, 77 years young, I should say. Bless your heart. Sue Gaskell, she is 73 years old. And we're going to get
you're a kid.
We're going to get to Virginia in a moment. Barb thought she was going to be the senior in the group until Virginia said, yes, I'm in. We're gonna get Virginia in. But what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen here, and be patient while I share it up. I'm going to bring on, because right now, Barb, whether you realize this or not, we are having this conversation between the 4 of us, but we are reaching close to 130, 140,000 people through social media. And it's on all the different channels. On Facebook right now, we're coming in live on my YouTube channel. And so I would like for people to experience what I experienced just 24 hours ago. So bear with me a moment here while I do a share screen.
I know, I thought of that too. Oh. Oh my goodness.
Hold on one second here. Got a technical difficulty.
I have to tell you, my husband helped me set that whole thing up yesterday. He's amazing.
Hold on one second.
I'm holding. We're waiting.
Facebook is working real slow. I think we got it.
Hi, partners. How you doing today? What's the matter? You never saw a Jewish cowgirl before? Hey, I taught country line dancing many years ago. And the easiest dance to do is the electric slide. You can get it on YouTube, so you can do it. And for those of you who do it, follow along with me. This is to Don't Rock the Jukebox by Alan Jackson. Here we go. My heart ain't ready. Woohoo! I don't feel like rocking. Since baby's gone. Don't rock the jukebox. You try it. Have a great night. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Ah, thank you. That's funny. God. That was a fun one. Adam helped me set that whole thing up because I needed my Amazon Alexa. Can't live without Alexa.
How is it seeing yourself sing? Well, not when you dance. Other videos you've actually gone and sang and played a little ukulele.
Yeah, I do. I you know what? I did community theater in New York when I was young. So this is, I love it. And I'm a Leo. I think that helps.
I just learned something new about you. I didn't know you did stage. Now, I'm going to take a moment here to reintroduce Virginia Wells. Virginia Wells and I met right after I got out of the hospital in 15, and I decided to rebirth myself. And I was a newborn. I left my home and decided to move to a community that was relatively close to the ocean in Huntington Beach, California. And Virginia and I became fast running neighbors. We met early on, and what I loved about Virginia was that her lifestyle. I'd be leaving many mornings, if not all mornings, at sunrise or close to sunrise to drive the 4 miles to get to the ocean, because that's where my healing took place. All of it, mind, body, and soul. And as I was leaving, many mornings, Virginia would be closing the door to her home, and she'd be walking to her car. And on her arm, she had a bag of sorts. It was either a tennis bag or it was roller skates. Because, it's your story. But before I invite you to share what it is that you do for fun and for yourself, for your own mental health, physical health, and emotional health, what struck me was how today, not this moment, but in this year, you are now 80 years young. And we met, it's about 4.25 years ago. And so you were 76. And my understanding is you haven't slowed down. You're still showing up the way you did 4.25 years ago. And what I loved about you was that you inspired me. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm not feeling safe to get on roller skates right now because I was in really bad shape physically, and I was hurting. I had just come out major surgeries and all. But here you were, 76 years old, roller skating, not just like roller skating, but competitively. I mean, you show up and you do competition. You dance, you roller skate, you do these competitions with other baby boomers. And then when you're not doing that, you're playing tennis competitively. And when you're not doing that, you're doing something called qigong, which is a form of type of yoga, stretching.
Tai Chi.
Tai Chi. Okay, close enough. Matter of fact, you invited Mary and I to experience that when we're still living in California, and we joined you one day in a park and with the Tai Chi teacher that gave us the session. What has always struck me about Virginia is that no matter how you feel, you show up for yourself. No matter how you're feeling, you show up. And I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit also about you broke a rib. You had an accident just about a year or so ago. And I want you to share with this community, our community, how you approached that broken rib. But first, I'd like to ask you, Virginia, to share. Now, not only was I inspired by you, but just like I had fallen in love with Barbara and I had fallen in love with Sue because my heart's big enough, I got enough heart to fall in love with a lot of people. My heart's not that small today. I fell in love with all three of you. And Virginia, of all the people that really got to see me up close on a daily basis, physically see me, it was you. And we became fast friends. Not only did you inspire me behind the scenes, but we had many dinners together, lunches together. We talked, we chatted, we talked about health, we talked about wellness, we talked about sickness, we talked about pharmaceuticals, we talked about Western medicine, we talked. And here we are today talking in a whole new way. And so I'd like to invite you to share with us, what is it for you that is your driver? What motivates you at age 80 to show up and dance on roller skates, to show up and play tennis, qigong, tai chi, I should say. I'll get it one of these years. And all the other things you do, how you utilize the internet to be educated and have knowledge, and you research. And how is it that you still have the energy to show up for yourself, and why?
Well, why? Because I want to. I love everything I do. I've always loved everything I do. And I feel the same way as the other two ladies and all the things they said about life. And, I worked all my life. I loved my job. I would not have traded it for anything. Had a great time working. And I love my
Excuse me, Virginia, what did you do?
I was administrative manager for a company at LAX.
Okay.
Our corporate office was in New York, and but we had offices on all the airports. And so I worked. I worked for them for 26 years, and I'm still in touch with a lot of them after all these years. We've all retired, but we all stay in touch. And
that's fabulous.
It is. I love it. And my tennis, I've played for 50 years. So that's my first love. But I always loved roller skating. And I did it as a kid through high school. And then, of course, you get married, you don't have time for that. But then when my kids were old, I have a girl and a boy, and I would take them to the skating rink because I wanted them to know how to skate. And then I could skate some more, too. And then we did that for quite a while. And then as they got older, they wanted to do other things. So then when they got married, I started taking my grandkids to the rink. And by then I was about 65 or so. And I said, nope, they have to know how to skate. They'll be invited to birthday parties at the rink, and I want them to know how to skate. So we did that for about 4 years or so before they got a little tired of it. But in the meantime, I had always wanted to do dance skating from the time I was young, but never had that opportunity to do that. And so when I was taking my grandkids, it was the rink in Fountain Valley that's been there since the 70s. They had what they call a coffee klatch every Tuesday and Friday from 10 to 12. And it's only for adults, but we also had a lady there that was giving the dance lessons. So one day I told her that I would like to learn just one dance. I always wanted to do that. Well, of course, you learn one and then you want to keep going. So I've taken lessons all these years, and we have competitions 4 or 5 times a year. We can go to regionals. This year it's in Sacramento, but of course everything I think is going to be gone by the wayside for this year.
It's on hold.
It is right. Well, right now they're waiting because it's in June, but the skating rink is closed, so people are not able to practice, which is sad, and the skating rink was so good for kids because the kids sessions would get 200 kids on the weekends and after school. It was a very popular and good thing for them. But, that had to close down, and our tennis club is closed, and I also play golf. And so I thought the other day I saw one of the golf clubs was open, and I thought, oh, that would be great. Maybe I can do that. And then the next day we got the email saying, oh, we have to close too. So there's not a lot to do right now, but I fell, as Jay said, about a year ago, but I fell on when I was skating. I was doing something just dumb and swung my leg, and it caught the other wheels. And I didn't crack my rib. It was non-displaced, but I didn't tell anybody about it, because if you tell people, the first thing they say is, well, you're not going to skate anymore, are you? And, I didn't want to hear that, because I make those decisions. Don't think I'm not going to skate because I fell. You guys have fallen on the
Good
tennis
for
court.
you.
Yeah. So, and then when I went to have the x-ray, I just drove myself because I didn't want to tell my family either. And so I drove myself and just had an x-ray to make sure what it was. And the doctor that took the x-ray, it was a lady doctor, and she says to me, well, do you want to put a contact down here, in case of anything? And I said, no, if I want to contact anybody, I'll contact them, but I don't need anybody's name down there right now. And then she says, well, how are you going to drive to get your groceries and things? I said, I drove here. I said, so I can drive to the store. I'm good. And so I
Good for you.
never told my kids, because they, of course, would say, Mom, you got to quit that now. And so I never told anybody. I was off for like 6 weeks, but during that 6 weeks, it didn't hurt me to walk. So then every morning I'd get up and I would walk, and I wanted to do a 5K all my life. So I trained for the 5K, which was in July. So that, I walked every morning, and then in July I did the 5K. But after 6 weeks of being off from my rib, then I was able to go back to skating. So I, of course, did that. And then my goal was I wanted to do one of the competitions when I was 80, because I'd done them for the last 10 years. So last November, I had turned 80 in April, so I did another competition. So, but this is just
You
me.
don't know how happy you're making me, because I love roller skating.
Oh, well, then
And
you'll have to come to
rollerblading. I
Fountain
just gave
Valley.
up rollerblading.
You'll have to come to Fountain Valley when it opens again.
I will be there. I
Okay.
promise you.
Okay.
Because I love to roller skate. I did it since I'm a little kid, and I was rollerblading. I gave it up 5 years ago. My kids, though, are listening to this now, and they're cringing.
I know.
Because they're always saying, don't do it. Don't do it. You can't do it.
Right.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
We'll have to,
You are my
get your
hero.
phone number, and when it opens up again,
Absolutely.
I'll invite you to
Absolutely.
coffee
We
class.
don't live far from each other.
Oh,
Yes.
no, I know. My granddaughter graduated from Rosary High School. I was up in Fullerton all the time. She
See? There you
she
go.
did track for them. Yeah. So that'll be fun. I would love to do that then.
That's
and
great.
You can come over from New Zealand and go with us.
We would love to have you. We would love to have you.
Well, I want to take a moment here to just thank you, Virginia, for sharing that part of your story. Earlier today when I invited you to come live with us, you said to me, well, I'm a little unsure because I don't know, like, I don't really have a backstory. She goes, I've watched a lot of your shows, Jay, and a lot of your guests that come in have like this monumental, this pivot moment in their life that took them to a rock bottom, and they share their rock bottom story, and then they share how they've come from surviving to thriving, if I may paraphrase you a bit here, Virginia. And you said, I don't really feel like I had a major trauma in my life or a major moment that like I have a backstory to share. She goes, I said, well, why do you do what you do? And she said, because I want to live. And I said, isn't that a story? That's your story right there. You show
You
up because
betcha.
you're not here to die. You're here to live. Daniel
That's right.
Gutierrez from Peru last week came in. He owns a Catalina Retreat Center in Peru. He used to live in Long Beach. That's why he just bought it 9 months ago and calls it Catalina. He's doing lives too right now because he's by himself, isolated in his retreat. And he quoted someone last week that said something to the effect, I want to live until I die. I want to live until I die. And that has resonated with me. And
Did you ever hear that song?
no,
I want to live till I die. What?
Go ahead and sing it.
That's from I think it's from a Broadway show. I want to laugh till I cry. I'm going to take the town and turn it upside down. I'm going to live, live, live until I die.
Beautiful.
It's a great uplifting song.
Thank you, Barb, for sharing that. I'd like to kind of transition a bit here and invite Sue to, from your perspective, really deep dive a little bit into this moment. All three of you women of wisdom are representing a really important, let's say, segment in your generation. You're in your 70s and just about to turn 81 this April. Happy pre-birthday, Virginia.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
But there
Thank
are
you.
millions of women and men that are in their 70s and older that, as you said, are for the first time facing something that they hadn't faced in their lifetime. Sue, I'd like to invite you to share from your own experience. How are you navigating through? Are there some tips, some ideas, some words of inspiration that you could share with others that may help them pivot from how they are embracing this moment to perhaps maybe a healthier way that they can?
Sure. I know for sure I'm one of 11 children, the youngest girl, one younger brother, and I've gone through so many traumas and breakdowns, wanted my life to end. So I talk from the experience of having fear-based love, not having that person that was there to say everything's going to be okay. And by the time I was 19, I was an orphan with lots of brothers and sisters, and my journey to be where I am now has cost me dearly, and I would give it again in a heartbeat, because what I've had to do is unlearn about worrying and relearn how to be my authentic self. And looking at it from the other perspective, I have known I've been in a wheelchair, I've had lots of things happen to me, and I work with people, I see people, I spend every day of my life sharing. And then I'm looking at it from IPS, International Peer Support, which means trying to put myself into other people's reality. I'm IPS trained recently, and that runs alongside life coaching. So I've been in a wheelchair, so I know how that feels. I've been doing so much, I've been so active and bubbly, and then something happened. So I'm talking to the people who are watching this that don't know how to be happy, that don't know how not to worry. And I do not blame anybody. And I've learned not to blame. I've learned to understand. And whatever you're doing, I want you to go inside your heart and ask yourself, what motivated you? What motivates you as a person when you were little? What made you tick? What made you happy? And because I work with people who aren't able to find 1 second when they were happy, and I can retrain and help them, I say to you, when you were happy as a child, something happened and that was taken away. And the excitement was replaced with fear. Now, what's happening in the world, and I don't make any reference to anything because we're all in this together, is you've got the best opportunity, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether you aren't able to talk, whether your hearing's gone, you have the opportunity to have and find some compassion for the inner child within you. It's not doom and gloom. Everything is absolutely as it was meant to be, and you are loved. The only person who needs to learn and understand that is you, to learn to love yourself. You didn't have it back there. You've got it now. You've listened to these 2 lovely ladies, Jay sharing his experience, and it's not poor old me. Oh, you don't need to feel envious. You don't need to feel resentful. You don't need to try and rob other people and say it's all right for you. What you can do is just stop and listen to people. We all have a different way, and listen to what might ring a bell for you. What motivates you? What do you want to do? Years ago, I was on here dancing after I'd had yet another illness. I've got so many invisible conditions. Do I get up and moan? Do I lie down and die? Not I will survive. And I'm more than a survivor. At survival mode, then you're not digging deep enough. Because back there, as a boy or a girl, there's a child inside you waiting for the best friend they'll ever have, and that's you, to connect and start finding what will make that boy or girl happy. Befriend them, move on.
Wow. Sue Gaskell.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
You know what, Sue? What you're saying is true, that you have to like yourself before you can get out of that and love everybody else. And people you have to start liking yourself. And if you love yourself, like yourself, whatever, everything falls into place and it's all good.
What's interesting,
you have to take care of yourself. It's self-love, and then you can give it to everyone.
What's interesting, Barbara, is that some people don't know they have a choice. That's the work I do. They just do not know. I've taken the tablets. I wanted life to end because I was exhausted. I didn't want to die. I wanted the pain to stop. And when you go through life being kind to everybody else so that they'll give you a crumb of comfort called love. So not everyone even knows that that's possible. So when someone's watching this, they'll still be saying, oh, it's all right for them. And I'm saying to those people, it is all right for them and it's all right for you, because you're where you are now and you're listening to us for a reason. So I would love you to think of one thing that makes you happy, one thing that you can appreciate today. And I've been with people who say, I haven't got one thing. And I'll say, that's okay. So how about thinking about breathing? Oh, well, I don't want to live. And I say, well, that's okay. If you don't want to live, that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. I'm not going to convince anybody. It's not my job. I'll support you if you want to support yourself. And so when people are happy, other people who don't know how to be happy, it creates resentment. It creates all sorts of called negative energy. And that gets stuck in the body and becomes a physical illness. So it's, for me, I know I'm doing what I was meant to do. Did I want to go
That's
through?
great, because
did I want to go through all that? No. Am I glad that I'm here? Yes, because whatever's happened in the past, there's only now. Just now is the fabulous little look of a child that's first born. Wow. And my wow's back forever. And I can support anybody who wants their wow back. That's what makes me happy. That's my reason for being here. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
If you hear something that resonates with you with what Sue just shared, and if you are of any age, but particularly if you are a baby boomer, Sue works with people all over the world. You do not have to be in New Zealand to connect and work with Sue as a coach. Sue does what I do. A lot of her clients are international. You could do a video chat, just like we hear. This is how we coach in this digital age today, especially in social distancing and some countries that are under quarantine or shelter in place. There's not a better time than when you're feeling down, when you have anxiety, worry, concern, perhaps struggling. Now is a time that you can get busy and work with a coach like Sue. She's available. You could private message her through Messenger. You could find a website. I've been having that go across the bottom banner ticker here, Sue's University of Life .nz. And so she's a world of knowledge and experience, and she comes from love for her clients to inspire them that it's possible that you can eat, no matter what your age is, that you can improve your life. And so thank you for sharing that, Sue. Barb, I'd like to ask you, from your perspective, you are living in a spot of the U.S. right now that they're saying may, in fact, is on its way to becoming a hot spot, living in Southern California. I'd like for you to share from your perspective how, besides putting on your dancing shoes and singing on a daily basis, how are you navigating through this moment of uncertainty? Would you share some wisdom?
I'll tell you this. Yeah, I'll tell you this. And you, well, all my friends and family know this. I am the biggest hypochondriac in the world. My mother was like that, and I inherited that. The tiniest thing, I could get a hangnail and call my doctor that I'm dying. So as one doctor said to me, you're going to live forever because you're always calling us and actually you're fine. So, so at this time, can you imagine? I'm afraid to ask my husband. We live in a guard-gated community. I am so thankful. No stranger gets in here. There's a guard at the gate 24/7. And so you have to see me. I mean, even if a box from Amazon comes to our house, which is about every day, I don't want to touch it because they say, leave it out there 24 hours, leave it out there 24 hours. So yeah, I'm happy and whatever because I'm in my little house here and I'm afraid to breathe outside. So, and that's the problem, that's the thing. That's what I try to get over. So my husband and I went for a walk we have a gorgeous lake here in Fullerton called Laguna Lake. And it's just beautiful. And we went yesterday, he said, come on, we'll go on the trail. And we're 6 feet apart. I would see somebody coming. I wanted to be 20 feet apart. I'd run into the bushes. I didn't even care where I was going so that I wouldn't get near anyone, And my granddaughter, the oldest, she's 35, she called me today. She says, Grandma, you could go on Etsy or something and get a mask and just sparkle it up or something and wear it. You'll be fine, because that's my big thing. And otherwise, so being in this house, I don't have a problem. I'm happy. I have my knitting. We have a knitting group where the real ukuleles of Orange County. In fact, we recently in February, we entertained at the Hyatt Regency in Santa Clara because we all knit, and it's a big knitting convention, my daughter included. And then I play ukulele. I also take lessons online with ukulele. So I'm busy with that. I have 2 great-grandchildren, the best in the world. They live in Orange, which is not far from me, but can't see anybody. Jay, before you were saying, yeah, you'd be with your grandchildren, no, don't go near anyone. We're in our 70s. Are you kidding me? You got video. Watch them online. It's all good. Eventually you'll see them. You know what I'm saying? So just wave. This is what I do with the great-grandchildren every day. We video every day and I see what they're doing and whatever. And I'm very happy. Nobody's giving me anything. I'm making sure. No stores, nothing. I miss my mall. I miss Nordstrom. Oh, please. But you know what? That's fine. I'm breathing. You want to breathe. I get up in the morning and I hold my breath. They tell you if you hold your breath past 10 seconds, you don't have this virus, right? Every morning I get up, I'm laying there and I'm breathing 30 seconds. I hold it. I'm probably turning blue, but I'm holding it because I'm so scared. And so I go, oh, good, great, I don't have it. So that's why I keep busy. I keep going so I don't have to think about it. And I'm so tired by 11 o'clock at night, I just fall into bed. And so that's why. And so therefore, my to be honest, my Instagram, which is it's Senile Rebellion, is my Instagram. It's called Defying Advanced Age with Style. That was the whole thing when I first started it, but it had nothing to do with the virus. Now it's just great because people give me such wonderful feedback, and I've got everybody dressing and getting out of their PJs and drinking a glass of wine. It's all good. What were you going to say, Jay? I'm sorry.
Well, no worries, and no need to apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. But putting that aside, it's interesting how we make up stories throughout our life on a daily basis about ourselves and how we perceive we show up. And it's interesting that at least on 2 occasions today, you said to me, I don't do technology. I'm not good with technology. However,
right.
You two ladies, Sue and Virginia, you are my witness. You heard her say, she mentioned she's even got an Instagram account.
Woo. Right.
So that's just the BS story. You tell yourself that you suck at technology when in fact you're probably doing more with technology than I'm doing. I mean, I have an Instagram account.
No. Don't ask my kids though. They say I know nothing, when it comes to technology.
That's just their story. But you know what?
You're right.
You're beautiful just the way you show up, Barb. And you're doing more at age 77 than millions of people are doing at age 67. You're showing up, you're putting on your dancing shoes, you're playing an instrument, you're singing, you're doing Instagram, you're probably posting on Etsy, you're doing your knitting class.
I'm knitting.
This is unbelievable.
Life is great. Life is beautiful. And we have to continue living. We are still young. 80 years old, Virginia, is the new 60. So
I know that. The new 50.
That's right.
Now, of this group here, Barb, you are the one who is in a marriage still. You and Adam have been together for over 3 decades.
It'll be 36 years that we're married in November.
Okay. So,
and I was married 23 years the first time. I'm married all my life. My daughter will be 60 in November, and my son will be 56 in 2 weeks. So, I was 2 when they were born. So,
with the schedule that you have, and the choices you make, how do you have time to be in a committed relationship with Adam when you're so busy with this calendar? Like, how do you like schedule him? Do you like book a time during the day? Like,
okay, hold it.
Between 5
this
and 7?
This marriage is going to last forever. That's the whole idea. No, seriously. He has his own things. He mountain bikes 2-3 times a week. He goes out into the hills in Fullerton. He mountain bikes. He fly fishes. He can't do that very much now, of course. But he has lots of stuff. He's always busy. He's busy with all kinds of exercising. He exercises in this house. He does. You know him. He's an exercise freak. He's juicing every day, juices, and I have to clean it. It's horrendous. But it's this whole juicer. He's into that. He's talking to his friends and whatever. So he's busy.
Yeah, Adam's got a physique of a guy that may be in his 30s.
He's
in shape.
Built good. Yep.
Yeah, amazing. And not only does he mountain bike, I remember back about 9 years ago, right shortly after I had a heart attack when I was 48, Adam suggested I take up mountain biking. And so I remember, I don't remember how many months there past the heart attack, I tried mountain biking for the first time in my life with Adam in Fullerton. I don't know if you recall, Adam and Jack Potter and Charlie Cobb.
Jack, yeah.
And Jack was the young one. Jack was at the time was in his early 30s, and Jack actually got dizzy and pretty much passed out on the trail. And here was me.
And mine with 2 little kids. I don't think he could do it now.
Well, you may be right, but all kidding aside, you guys are a power couple. You somehow it's worked for the two of you, and you keep showing up. And
we're lucky.
Neither one of you guys really compromise what's important to you. You have the things that you enjoy doing that bring you calm, that bring you ease, that bring you comfort. And Adam has his things. Adam, you didn't mention mountain climbs. He mountain climbs some of the tallest mountain peaks in the world. He's done them, and he's doing them in his 70s. I believe Adam's 75. I believe, is that right?
75.
75.
He's 75. I'm a cougar. He calls me a cougar.
Well,
I married a young guy.
Yeah. But it's remarkable to watch how the two of you can love each other enough and be in a relationship with. It's more about connection and less about attachment. You give him permission to do what he wants to do for himself, and he gives you permission to do what you want to do for yourself. Meaning, when I say you give each other permission, it's just you get out of each other's way and you respect
All right,
each other.
good. I'm glad you defined that. I was going to punch you. No, we don't give each other permission. We give ourselves permission.
Beautiful. Exactly. Right, Sue?
It's interesting. It's just phenomenal that we understand that it starts with the self. And I totally get what you're saying, Jay. I totally get it, because you've been where I've been. So it's this journey we're all on. I did what I do for years and years here on social media. My family thought I was crackers. They didn't really say it in those words, as I learned to find out who I was. So I see both sides of what you both just said. And the most interesting thing is I did all this. I've done it for nothing. I've just done it. Well, what I got back was seeing people grow. I'm seeing people learn to be able to live on their own, to learn to seek the love and that they needed. And then, hey, I have to tell you guys, I hope nobody's listening. I think I might be in a new relationship. Don't tell anybody.
Is it
okay,
human,
you better keep us informed.
Is it a human being or is it a pet?
Oh, no, it's a real, genuine human being.
Yes, it's possible. It's possible. You see how this works? Is that not amazing?
My dad did it. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. For goodness sakes, this is the beginning of our lives.
You know that feeling when you're a teenager? You know that feeling? Oh, it's wonderful. People think that we're old. You must be joking. And what's interesting, and I will say a tiny bit more, because it's for anybody listening again, because I think about everybody. If you think, I'm on my own, you're never on your own, because you've got this love inside. And hey, I meet somebody and I think to myself, nah, it's not going to work, because they know they're stuck in the self-center. It's all about them. It's all about busy, busy, busy. They've not learned who they are. So I have to think, is this person worth it? And believe you me, that we have lots of choices. I think this person's worth it. We know each other very well. We haven't actually met yet. And that's me done. No more questions or no more information.
Wow. This? Sue, you just set a loving boundary with all three of us. And with respect and love for you, we won't ask you another question about this new relationship that's kind of sparking something in your eyes. And I love that. And I look forward to hearing more about it when you're ready to share more. And not a second sooner.
We love each other. I love you two ladies instantly because I'm loving. And I have not
Back
met
at you.
Yes.
I've not met you. So this is, and it wasn't a paid situation. I'm not telling you anything else. And you can love somebody, learn to get to know them, and then meet.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Virginia Wells, I want to ask you from your perspective, as you and all three of us, all four of us are navigating through this moment in time with a lot of questions and very few defined answers. How are you navigating through it? How are you keeping yourself emotionally and mentally and physically healthy today?
Well, I decided from day one that I was going to have my same schedule as before, almost, with different activities, of course. But I get up still early every morning. I could meet you going to the beach if you were here still. I get up, I get dressed. I don't ever sit around in my pajamas all day. And then I go out, and after breakfast, I take an hour and a half walk, 2 hour walk, whatever I feel like. And that kind of takes the void of skating, because I want to stay active enough that when we can go back to doing our things, I haven't lost my ability to skate or my ability to play tennis. And so then in the afternoon, I come back, I have lunch, and then I will go out again. I used to go sit at the beach and read for a while. Now we kind of can't do that, but I go get in my car and I drive to a place where I can park and look at the beach and take a walk on the streets around there, and take my book with me. Then always have that, and it's just something I have to do. I like my schedules. I like my goals. I don't want to sit here and get up every morning and say, "Oh God, what am I going to do today?" So I just make up my mind that this is the things I'm doing. The other day I told you we walked Bolsa Chica, and I don't have too many friends to walk with right now because nobody will leave their house. So I go by myself, but one of my skating friends texted me and said, "Would you like to stay 6 feet apart and we'll go for a walk?" She said, "I got to get out of here." I said, "I would love to." So that's when we went and walked around Bolsa Chica the other day. And but I have to respect my friends. They're and we're all scared, but I can't live my life just being scared. You be careful, do what you're supposed to do, but I have to get out and walk and do some exercise.
Beautiful.
Yep, that's
Beautiful.
what I'm doing.
Good. Well, you're scared though. You want to stay in your house.
Yeah, right. I'm trying so hard not to be. And my husband's very positive about that.
Good.
Like, come on. We're 6 feet apart here with these people. It's not a problem.
I know. You can't.
I think because I'm Jewish, we have that guilt thing,
That's
We're worried
right.
about a lot of things like that.
Uh-huh.
Well, that may be true.
What about you, Jay?
That just may be another story. I'm not sure, Barb, but you tell yourself. What about me, Barb? What is it that you'd like to know?
How are you in this time? You know how we're coping in this time. What about you?
It's a great question, and thank you for asking me. I believe that I've been preparing for this moment unknowingly. I got out of the fast lane when I was near death in 15, and I've made choices that were very difficult. I had to be willing to lose everything, and I did. I lost. Not only did I lose everything, but I had to be willing to die so that I could rebirth myself. And through that process, I got to come home. And I'm not talking about the four walls. I'm talking about the home within. Some of you may understand the language I'm speaking. And through that process, I got to know who I am, what's important to me, and what's not, and redefine how I live my life today. And so I stepped out of that fast lane. I was in it for 54 years. I had a successful career. I had a wife, 3 beautiful sons. Barb, you've met them all.
Yep. And they are beautiful boys.
Thank you. But what I learned was that through the process of my own healing, 9 medical diagnoses that they said were impossible, and they called me a complicated case. What I learned is that by showing up for myself and learning how to take care of myself, that I could lead a very simple life, but a life that is very fulfilling. And so how I'm getting through this moment is by doing exactly what I've been practicing doing for the past 4.25 years, which is every day I start out by myself, with myself, for myself. I don't go to a gym anymore. No, thank you. I'm not interested in being in a room with fluorescent lights and a bunch of people. I'm interested in stepping out into the outback, as they say down under and over in Europe. I'm interested in being out in nature, whether it be a park, a lake, a pond, a river, a stream, a trail, the ocean. That's where I find peace. That's where I find calm. That's why I find love. And through that process, I've been doing it on a daily basis for years now, changing, making different choices in nutrition, reversing disease, and healing relationships. The most important one being with myself. And so I remember about a year ago, I started to say to Mary, I don't know what's in front of us, but I feel like I'm being prepared for something bigger than me, way bigger. And then I finished that statement by saying, and the beautiful thing is, I don't need to know what it is today. I just need to keep showing up for myself the way you 3 incredible, beautiful women keep showing up for yourself. And then you show up for others. But first you show up for you. And so how I'm managing it is the same way you all 3 are. I distract myself, not with alcohol. Right now, I'm not doing any alcohol. I've removed it from my life just for today because I don't want to lower my immune system. I've removed myself from TV. I don't own a TV today. I once had 7 in my home. When I want the news, I know where to find it. I click on an article that I choose to read. And my intention is no more than 30 minutes a day in the news because it's not good for me otherwise. And upping my immunity by drinking more herbal teas, replace the alcohol with teas, primarily plant-based diet today, and supplements that I was not on prior to this moment that I am on now, that are very direct immune boosting supplements at high dosage levels that are still safe, based on my studying and education and consulting with my medical team that are not in Western medicine, that are outside holistic doctors. So that's how I'm doing it. And then after I take care of myself, then I connect with people by showing up. Almost right now, I'm doing a show a day to provide content, provide comfort, a place for people to come and know that they're going to get me showing up consistently, providing a message that hopefully will inspire them and provide some hope and some clarity as to how we can all show up for ourselves today. There's the long answer, Barb. And then when it's all said and done, I go to sleep at night and I'm tired, but it's a good tired.
Of course. And you know what? And you're doing it every day. So you're inspiring everybody. You're inspiring people. You're making them feel better. If they can smile, if they can say, wow, I'm feeling better today. I listened to Jay. I watched his cast. It was great. You know, that's wonderful. Every day you're helping somebody. And that's what we're all trying to do as well. To just put a smile on somebody's face.
Exactly. Thank you for asking that, Barb. We are over the hour.
Sure.
I'd like to try to stay to the hour, but what I'd like to do at this time is give each one of you an opportunity to share some closing thoughts, perhaps maybe a word or two of what I call liquid gold moment of pure wisdom. And then I'm going to close this out with my own personal thoughts. So, well, Virginia, how's about we start with you? Some closing words or thoughts. Maybe there's a baby boomer. Maybe there's a person that needs to hear something that you can say that can make them feel better in this moment.
Well, there was a guy at the skating rink. He had kind of some mental problems, always very troubled, younger guy in his 60s, but he and I started talking one day, and he skated by me one day, and he said to me, "You make me smile." And and he, just to see him light up, that was just such a neat thing, because I never think about inspiring anyone. You're the one that made me amazed when you would walk by me and say, "You just inspire me." I used to think, me? But anyhow, this guy, it just, because of what I said in our little talk, he was just a different person. And when he skated by, and he just looked at me and said, "You make me smile," and he'd say that whenever he'd see me. So I just, that was really nice. But you always were really nice too. And I just can't believe how you would always think I was inspiring you, because I was leaving early the same as you. But that was really neat.
Thank you, Virginia. That's a beautiful story. I just want to add on to what you just shared, is that so many times we don't know how we are showing up for others. We are not aware how we are touching them just on time. I sometimes randomly receive a private message from somebody that I had no idea was following me, was listening, was watching, and they have communicated to me how I have impacted their life. And that's why I do what I do. I'm not in the business of helping people. I tried to do that and it didn't work out so well. I can't help people. They gotta want to help themselves. What I do is I show up to inspire people that it's possible that you can heal. You can heal from emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual disease. We can get better. It's a choice, but we can get better. It's simple, not easy, but we can. And that's why I show up every day. First, so for myself, so that I have something of value to bring forward. And Virginia, I just love how you just go through life unknowingly touching other people, because you're just doing it from your own heart space for yourself. And in doing so, you are a mentor, you are a teacher, you are a leader, and keep showing up, because your work is not done.
Oh, good.
Barbara?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome, Virginia. Go ahead. I'd like to invite you to share some closing words, perhaps with somebody that's in your generation that right now may be hurting, scared, worried, having panic attacks. Go ahead and close us out with your thoughts.
Yeah, for anyone who's my age or in our age, who is worried about today and feeling sad and feeling lonely, and there are a lot of friends that I have that are just anxious because of what's going on and what you hear in the news. And if you just sit down and think about how lucky you've been and how much luck you're going to have in the future. You're going to be able to do things once this passes. And I can't impress enough, to be honest, that everyone has to just take heed. Just take heed. Do your 6 feet apart. Wash your hands as much as you can. Make sure you do that. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And don't be anxious. And if you are anxious, look at someone. Listen to Jay. Turn on his site. It's wonderful. Or even to Sue, so that they do this. This is what they do. And they'll make you feel much, much better. And I hope I make people feel better, because they make me feel better. Every time I read something that someone writes about my sites, whether it be on Instagram or whether it be on my Facebook page, I feel so good. I feel like, wow, I made them smile today. And for a minute, they have a chance to not think about it, what's going on. My oldest granddaughter, her friend, she told me the other day, a girlfriend of hers found me on Instagram, or maybe Jillian told her about it. And now she and her husband sit down after dinner every day and watch my video, and they feel so good after they watch it. And that keeps me going to do it every day, so that I want to make people feel better. Just smile. Just smile. You're alive. You're alive. And that's so important. And you're going to be fine. Just have an attitude that it's all going to work out. And it will. It really will. And don't be a hypochondriac like me. Anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Barb.
And you're such an inspiration, Jay, to everyone.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you so
So,
much.
Keep it up.
Sue, thank you. Sue, it's your time.
Okay. Practical. I journal, which means I write down how I'm feeling. I give myself 8 things that are priority in my life: me time, family time, work time. And I use that and follow it. I date it and I put the time and the year, because then somebody might benefit one day. I also write these down because I've come in touch in the last week with an old feeling. Feelings eat you alive. This colour here, I used to be from head to toe almost bright red because I was scared. So I've got a certain amount of anxiety. That anxiety is an old message that is coming to me. And I say to it now, no, you're not going to take the best chair in the house ever again. I'm off any tablets I ever had to take. And so practically, if journaling works for you, and if you want to wear your pajamas all day, then have a shower first, so you're not being lazy. Wear whatever makes you comfortable. Listen to what people say and ask yourself, does that work for me? Because I've got invisible conditions, then I have to remind myself, if I have a shower and keep my PJs on, then I'm actually officially resting and I feel part of the world. The nugget I will leave you with is, it's so simplistic. This is the moment. This is what we have. Be in the moment. Quietly look inside and say to yourself, how would I feel today if I was alone? And feel the fear and own it, and then it won't harm you. Just let it pass through and listen to people like Jay. He knows what he's about. We all do. That's not pulling rank. We turn up, and we turn up because we care. And I care about one person that might hear one thing, and I get a message to say, Sue, you don't know me. I wanted to die today because of what you said. It's made me stop and think, what makes me tick? And I say, if you're alive, you're here for a reason. Enjoy the moment. Don't let fear take anything away, and be your beautiful self, the soul energy. And thank you for listening. Thanks for sharing. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. This has been a lot of fun for me on so many fronts, so many reasons. Before I share my own personal experience being here, right now, my message to those that are watching, it doesn't matter what generation you're from. What matters is that we're all having the same experience. And we have a choice to, as Sue said, stay in the present moment or think out beyond today. And I know for myself, whenever I go to future thoughts, I go to worry, fear, anxiety, because it's the unknown. And knowing that it doesn't serve me, and it actually helps to compromise my immune system, because when I'm in worry or fear, I'm in what's called the sympathetic nervous system response mode, which means I am flushing my body with cortisol and adrenaline, which actually reduce your immune system. It sets you up for disease. And so knowing that today, my intention when I see that I'm drifting out into a thought about something in the future, I pull myself back in through my own awareness in the moment to say, where am I right now? Am I okay today? And the answer is yes. And then I take the next step to stay in the present. What are some of the beautiful tools that I could reach for that help me feel good in the moment. So you mentioned journaling. I love music today. I have music on most of the day, and I'm not talking about music that's going to amp me up or create an emotion that is unhealthy for me. I seek music that's going to calm me down, that's going to lower my blood pressure, my heart rate, bring in the healthy hormones that puts me into the parasympathetic nervous system response, like endorphins. And there's others as well. But what's important is that when I put music on, like instrumental music or meditation music, sounds of nature, even when I'm in nature sometimes, it calms me down, it relaxes me, and it has a major impact on my emotional well-being. So music is a big tool that I use I call it music therapy, and it works well. Singing. Now, I'm not Michael Bublé by any means, and I'm certainly not Barbara Deleon. I don't have your voice either. But what I find when I sing out loud, or even if I'm humming, the vibration of hearing my voice, just the vibration within at my chest cavity, my chest walls, it's healing, it's nurturing. It feels good. It actually helps keep me calm. It connects me to myself. It's a way to connect to myself. Another tool I reach for is I also do the journaling as well. I write, I blog, I publish articles for digital magazines these days. Nutrition, water is huge, and most people don't drink enough water. We're drinking other beverages that are not clean water. And water is the most important beverage that we need in our body for our organs to be healthy and for our brain to think clearly. Water is key. Half your body weight is all you need. Half your body weight in ounces.
And put lemon in it.
Put lemon in it. There you go. And eat less of the fried foods and more of the greens and the vegetables and the fruits that will give your body the nutrition that it needs. And so nutrition is a big factor for me as well. It gives me the energy. It gives me the clarity. And there's so many others. If you want more, I'm happy to share with you. Just DM me. I'm happy to give you that, have that conversation. As far as my personal experience right here, right now, in this moment today, with the three of you amazing women of wisdom, word came to me earlier today before we went live that I want to share with you. I shared earlier that we all have a heart that's large enough for many people. We don't have to just hold our love in a monogamous way to one person. Love is, we're capable of having a heart big enough. There's a space for everyone that's worthy of our love. Not everybody is, and that's okay. That's another topic for another day. But there's a part of me that has been touched by you. I have been touched by an angel. And each one of you have been an angel in my life for different reasons. But this is my way of honoring you and showing my love for you and my appreciation, and through honoring you, through inviting you to be here today, this evening. And each one of you have touched me in a very profound way. And these are tears. A lot of people are not comfortable seeing a man cry, and that's okay. I'm at ease with it. I'm at peace with it. Because these are not tears of pain. These are tears of gratitude. These are tears of joy. These are tears of awareness and appreciation for how you have touched my life. And so I just want to thank you and honor you. And I hope someday we have the opportunity to come back and do another show. And with that, I'm going to ask the three of you to stay in the studio just for a moment so that we can just kind of have a debriefing before we head out for our evenings. For those of you that watch this live or on replay, thank you so much for joining us today. Back in New Zealand, back in Southern Cal, and Scottsdale, Arizona, where I'm coming in live. Each of you ladies, if you have time to kind of connect and respond to some of the comments through Facebook, you can. And with that, I want to thank all of you in the community for joining us live on Real People, Real Stories Raw. We'll be coming in later this week. Have a beautiful weekend and be safe. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies.
Thank you,
Be
Jay.
safe, Jay.
You too.